Epic word used as an adjective has become stylish in recent years. You may hear your friends saying like something is epic. For example, when they are talking about a party and they say like, "Oh my God, it was an epic party," or they see a new car and they say like, "Oh my God, it's an epic car." But the real meaning of epic is very different. Epic genre narrated historical facts about their events that happened in the past of a nation. It usually makes an exploration of their heroes, beliefs, and their adventures in glorious ways that sometimes can be fantastic.
Epic poems have many precise characteristics that are in the most of the poems. One of them is that mix the legends, that is the fantasy, with history, that is the reality, putting both at the same level, causing the myth and reality to merge and look like they are the same. Another characteristic it was verbally spread. The poets who were thought to recite poems to important aristocrats were called aedos. There is an invocation to a muse at the beginning of the text, like a narrator, in which the poet is asking for help to tell the story. One of the most recognized invocations is the Iliad. Appears at the beginning of the Iliad, written by Homer, declared O Muse. Another characteristic is the use of epithets. An epithet is an adjective or a phrase that functions as an adjective. That is not entirely necessary, but is used to magnify or enhance one of its features. Some of the examples appears in the Iliad are far-darting Phoebus, blue-eyed Pallas, and swift-footed Achilles.
In the epic genre, gods play an important role. They appear, interact, and coexist with humans. Some examples of histories that include the appearance of gods are the Iliad and the Odyssey by Homer, and some of the gods that appear the most in these stories are Zeus, Athena, Apollo, Ares, Aphrodite, among others. Also, ornate language is used, and there are a lot of literary figures in the epic genre, such as comparisons. Some examples of these comparisons are were like a tempest darkening heaven around, or fiery deluge that devours the ground, or the impatient Trojans in a gloomy throng in battle rolled as Hector rushed along. This fragment from the Iliad. And the enumeration appears in several chapters to mention something in more detail. It is typically used to talk about family relationships or to deepen the name of someone that fell in battle, of a soldier, for example. Some examples of this enumeration are fierce Aeneas brandishing his blade, in dust Auriculus and Cretan laid. This is a fragment from the Aeneid by Virgilio.
It's important to know why the epic genre has a special place in literature. They aren't just some stories that some old guys told. They have meaning, some profound meaning. They may seem like heroes that have no flaws and have perfect characteristics and never die, but they are more than that. It has a meaning, a purpose. It can mean something to a writer, it can mean something to the reader, it can be a representation of the time it was made, it can be a representation even in the place it was made. For example, Divine Comedy. Divine Comedy talks about how Dante feels about the afterlife, how he thinks hell, purgatory, and heaven will look like. That's why the epic genre is so special. It can express opinions, feelings in a different way that no other genre can. You can express a simple thought of these people I don't like in a journey that across hell, purgatory, and heaven. It's super interesting and super helpful for people to understand the past or the opinions of other people. In the Divine Comedy, first comes the several rings of hell. And that's super interesting, how Dante expresses hate towards some types of people, like Greek deities. He puts some deities in the circles of hell, or some certain writers, or even the one pope who he doesn't like. Even this kind of thing expresses how Dante feels about these kind of things in a epic and a journey manner.
Literary discourse is a communication process in which a language is comprehended. It has an author, a receptor, and an agent. They can be written in two ways, verse and prose. In the case of the verse, it's a scandalous rhyme and is written in lines. In the case of the prose, it's like every speech which has a common structure and doesn't have rhyme. The epic texts are written in verse. The reader at the moment in which confronts the compositions needs to find what are the elements that are repeating or are in present. To find it, you should ask what is about the text. You can talk about positive and negative values like trust, friendship, love, betrayal, envy. The them is a generalization of work.